All right, 3, 2, 1, and we're golden. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
It's been like 2 weeks. Well, not like it's been 2 weeks since we last recorded. Fucking Dusty's in a new fucking undisclosed secret location.
Yeah.
Shit is crazy.
Yeah, it's
Foothills
nuts.
somewhere in California.
Yeah, but we're back.
Messing with Hillary.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, how's that going?
We got some wind up here up north and a little bit of rain today, but it was just cooled off the last 2 days was really it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Been
But
cool
apparently
here.
they got like 2 years worth of rain in some spots where they were supposed to. I haven't really checked down there in SoCal.
Right. But yeah, we're back for episode
Mhm.
60. I got it right this
Nice.
time, Marvin.
Damn.
Nice.
Big 6-0. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's up.
The Harsh Language Podcast is now 60 episodes old. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
The big
Feels
60.
good.
Yeah, episode 60 is going to be a good one. I was looking forward to this episode. I don't know about you guys. We're going to be talking about Across the Spider-Verse a little bit later in the show, and I was excited to watch this movie because of all the hype that it's gotten, but I waited specifically for this day
Had
to
you
come.
seen the first one yet, or did you watch them back to back?
I saw the first one when it came out,
Okay.
like a while back.
Nice.
But yeah, was looking forward to it because of all the hype surrounding it. But
Yep.
before we get into the episode, I have a little bit of cheap sellout, shameless plugging to do. Folks, we are dangerously close to our next little milestone of 500 subs on YouTube.
Nice.
So if you've been watching the show here and there and maybe haven't hit the sub button yet, consider doing it for us because it would help us out greatly.
Greatly.
Even if you
And,
don't, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
And hit the like button and comment. Interact
Yeah.
with us.
It would be greatly appreciated to get us to that 500 mark. And if you're new around here, listen, I understand. It is a big commitment to sub to a new YouTube channel. I never sub to new YouTube channels. The YouTube channels that I'm sub to, I've been sub to for like since YouTube existed, basically. But if you're stumbling across us somewhere on the internet, don't sub right off the bat. I wouldn't ask that. But if you're enjoying what you're seeing, go have a little browse, peruse our YouTube channel, and then if you like our stuff, hit the sub button or consider it. Again, would be greatly appreciated.
It's free.
It's free, yeah. You don't even have
We're
to do
not
anything.
asking for no money.
Nah, nothing. Just a little
Help us
bit of
out.
just a little click. 1 second of your time. Click a couple of buttons on the interface. That's it. And of course, remember to check out harshlanguage.tv and you'll find all of our links in there as well. So that's all I wanted to say before we get started.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
How's your 2 weeks been? How you guys been?
It's been all right. It's been crazy.
I don't even
Kinda
talk
crazy.
to Marvin anymore. Marvin's he's playing 4 different games.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guy's got going
It's hard
on.
to keep up. Yeah, it's hard to keep up. It's a lot, man. A lot of gaming for sure. Not much other stuff, but a lot of gaming.
Mhm.
I haven't really been playing any video games.
No, I've been playing nothing.
Yep.
Not a thing, actually.
Really
But,
waiting for Dune to come out, and maybe what's the day before, the day after, the game that's never going to come out.
The day
Everybody
the
thinks
day
it's-
that's never gonna come. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's never happening.
There's a Dune game coming. Is that what you just said?
it's an MMO. Yeah,
Ooh,
Oh wow, that's interesting.
that's what Marvin's ears just perk up. It was a
I can't imagine how convoluted that game is going to be based off the movie.
It's from the same people that did the Conan game,
Oh, I never played that.
Conan Exiles. Yeah, that was a fun one. Me and Owen played it for a little while.
I have a hard time getting into MMOs, as you know, but I like the idea of them and want to be immersed in something that I could just grind endlessly. But unfortunately, none have really struck my fancy. But yeah, I would give that a go, maybe. Yeah, so I haven't played any games. I have put together a comprehensive schedule of things that I need to watch because I'm way behind on my show watching. I complain about this all the time. In my head, I just put together like a little hierarchy of things that I want to watch. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I've had a bad habit lately of starting stuff and then just not finishing it. Still haven't finished The Mandalorian. I'm on the last episode. I just can't bring
Nice.
myself to watch it.
I still
Mainly
haven't
because it was
finished
boring.
Superman and Lois.
Yeah, that you're fucking up big time.
Yeah.
But I told you guys I started the Stephen King show a while back. Never finished that yet. I'm on season 3, which is the last season.
Oh yeah.
I want to watch the new Taylor Sheridan show that Dusty told us about last time.
Lioness.
Fucking Silo, that other horror show that came out. What was that one called? Like Them or some shit. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. Where the people are like stuck in the town or some
I
shit.
think it is them.
It's something like that, yeah.
No.
Oh man. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do. But I just saw on IMDb there's like another Walking Dead spinoff that's coming out. A trailer just dropped for it. It's called Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. I didn't even know that was gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
They're milking it.
I think I reported on that briefly but you kind of probably phase out when I talk about The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
They're like he wakes up in France, I think, with amnesia. I think is the plot line that I'm pretty sure I reported on something like that. I was like, how the what? Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
He was a popular character. He was supposed to die, and they kept him around, and now he's like the staple because
he should have died.
That show was so bad. It started off great.
Yeah.
But it got more comic booky like as it went on, especially with those like last 3 seasons that you probably didn't watch.
I got a hard
And not comic booky in a good way. It's like the
good.
bad way. Like
you corrected.
they had stormtroopers. There was fucking a satellite crash, and they went and collected the shit like a video game. Like, yeah, go get this debris from this thing. Yes, Tarkov Quest. It was bad.
Yeah.
It started to get really bad.
I was about to.
Michonne had a kid, and I'm just gonna spoil everything. Michonne had a kid and fucking abandoned her kid to go look for Rick that went missing.
God.
She lost all my respect after that.
Yep. That's like, I don't even need to watch the show to be annoyed about that, because that was like the complete opposite of Michonne's character. When she was introduced, she was who she was because she lost her family.
Right. Exactly.
So why would she ever do that?
You got to at least watch some kind of recap or something so you could just see how insane it gets. After Negan, they accepted Negan back.
Yeah, that's part of the book. Yeah,
and then they found this big, crazy town. It's like 50,000 people in this town. And there's like literal like stormtrooper looking motherfuckers walking around. You got to look it up. I'm not making this shit up.
Here's the problem with that show. Not to go off on a Walking Dead tangent, but I was going to hard disagree with you when you said it got like the comic book, because the comic book was great. And the comic book was great because nobody was ever safe. Motherfuckers could die, like Carol and like Glenn. Those deaths in the comic book were like, oh my fucking God. Like
brutal and quick. And it was just like, oh,
it was crazy.
One, yeah.
But of course, when you're doing television and you're doing bad television, you know, you keep characters safe because they're popular, like Daryl. I am a strong proponent of the fact that Daryl should have taken Glenn's place when Negan was introduced into the show, because it would have made as much of an impact on the show as it did in the comic book when Glenn died. But they wouldn't do that because he's a wildly popular character. So
yeah, I hate when they do that. Pussies.
If you
just kill them off if you're gonna fucking do it.
I used to love that show, man. I was so excited to watch it every fucking Sunday night. Like I'd go to the fucking order some food and I'd watch it with a TV tray in front of my phone. That show was like so good. But if you think about it objectively, that show like ended after season 2. Season 2 is when it started going downhill. I
think it was good up until they got to the kingdom with the fucking tiger, the terrible CGI tiger.
Yeah, see,
up until then it was pretty enjoyable.
I don't know. I really disagree. I think the first 2 seasons really captured what makes that show great. Like the farm.
No, I agree there. I could agree with that.
You remember how good the finale of season 2 was when they were looking for the little girl? I don't remember her name all season. And then the bombshell that she was a zombie in the fucking shed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then Rick just gangster as fuck as everybody's crying. He's like, well, gotta be done. Walks up, shoots her in slow motion. Like, it was so fucking good. And then they went to fucking the governor, and that's when everything just went downhill, because it was like miscasting after miscasting. Negan casting was good, but Negan is of course neutered in the show because it's made for TV, and he's not what he is in the comic book. And then there's just like all this madness, and it's like money and fucking 28 fucking episodes a season, mid-season finale that
they're cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's way too long.
the way they did it, their
the
equation for pumping out a season, like cliffhanger,
Yeah.
start with a cliffhanger, end with a cliffhanger, have a mid-season cliffhanger, and everything else is just like dull human drama.
The bulk of the episodes just like don't have like they just don't matter because they're made. It's
like Days of Our Lives for the most part until they get into a fight
with zombies.
Yep.
Anyhow, fuck that show.
That's what happens with those type of shows though when they go on too long.
Which is actually crazy because AMC, obviously, you know, with Vince Gilligan stuff, like they were like, all right, well, you're gonna end it at season 5, okay, fine, end it. Like, I don't know if they had anything to do with why The Walking Dead has persisted as much, but I would imagine somewhere it's like, yo, this is a cash cow. Like, we cannot let this go.
Yeah.
But like, good Lord, it's time. You said they're milking that cow is like shriveled up and just dead. It's like a raisin.
Yeah, it's just straight puss. There's not even any more milk coming out.
Pus and blood, like a pimple. It's just like enough with this shit already, man. And you know, and the thing is too, last thing I'll say about it is like the comic book is not about Rick. Okay. And that's where the show I think really ultimately failed, is that they centered this whole thing around Rick. The comic book is about Carl growing up in this world of zombies.
Right.
Not about Rick.
Coral.
I need to go back and start reading the comic book again.
Coral. Things will be different.
When I said it got more
No, I know what you mean.
When I said it got more comic booky, I was not
I know.
Meaning that, it's just like in the crazy shit that they had to do, I guess, to keep people watching or whatever.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh, I didn't even talk about the fucking the zombie skin wearing people. The Whisperers, yeah. That was like, I think that was right before the Stormtroopers.
Which is, again, another really cool part of the comic book that it just, I didn't watch it at that point. Yeah, but it seemed to me like they fucked that shit up too, but.
Yeah, it was all bad.
Hey, whatever. All good things must come to an end, right? And that came to an end in season 2 for me. I watched it all the way up until like the Negan War started, but like that's when I was like, nah, this show is just no good. But speaking of other things that I didn't know were coming out there's apparently a 4th Planet of the Apes movie coming. Did you report on this, Dusty? Because I did not know about this whatsoever.
I don't know if I did or not. No, now that you mention it, because that does not sound
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, okay, this might not be a good movie, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there, because we no longer have, what's his name directing it? The guy who directed the Batman. Can't remember his name. I have to find it, because it's going to...
Reeves?
Yeah, Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is not directing it, okay? And we no longer have our boy Caesar in this movie.
What?
Yeah.
Nah, this is already dead. This is dead on arrival.
However, this is a direct sequel to the previous movie, War for the Planet of the Apes. And
Woody Harrelson.
And this is supposed to conclude Matt Reeves' vision for the story that he was trying to tell. So I read this whole article about it, and apparently what he was going towards was, obviously humanity is like dwindling by the last film, right? You've seen them all, Marvin, have you?
I don't know if I've seen this third one. It doesn't seem that familiar, but maybe.
Third one's great, and like mankind is basically on its last legs, and they're making like their last final attempt at like taking out Caesar and his like group of apes or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know.
But Reeves' vision for this was now the world after humans are gone, and now this movie, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, humans are done. There's no more humans, and
oh shit!
And now we're dealing with apes that grew up in this world run by apes that never actually, they weren't trained, nor were they enlightened by Caesar like the older apes were. And if you remember, the conflict between Caesar and the bad ape in the previous movies was that Caesar was like, nah, like we could coexist. And the other guy was like, nah, fuck that, fuck humans. So Caesar is like, basically Caesar's the leader of the apes, and he's no longer there. And there are people that don't know Caesar's teachings. So that's going to be the conflict of this movie, is like these little subsets of young bloods versus the elders, basically. So it's a cool concept, and I'll probably see it. But oh man, I don't know. It's dangerous.
Why would he not direct it? Is he just too busy?
Yeah, he's doing Batman.
They say why?
I don't know. No, I don't know. He probably just didn't want anything to do with it.
So no director plan yet?
No, they have a director. The movie's like...
it's basically done?
It's coming out in 2024.
Oh, 2024, yeah.
It's in post-production. The director's Wes Ball, who I've never heard of. He did the Maze Runner movies, so...
they were okay.
Yeah, they're pretty fun, so whatever. Maybe it'll be good.
I can see him doing a good job with this then, based on Maze Runner. That's all he did, though?
Well, I didn't look at his whole thing, but those are, I guess, the notable ones. But, I mean... Yeah. Those other Planet of the Apes movies, man, they are next level good. So hopefully it's good.
I don't know that I've seen all the Maze Runner movies. I've seen a couple of them, I know, but
I think I saw the first one. Yeah,
I
don't think I saw the second one.
I watched them all one night. I think I definitely watched the first one, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And I think I've watched the second one. I don't remember about the third one though.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched.
I didn't know there was a third one.
Yeah, but the first one was cool. I liked the plot of it. It was interesting.
Yep.
And I like that kid Dylan O'Brien, who was like the main guy.
Yeah.
He's he was in Teen Wolf and like a bunch of other shit. Oh, he's in that movie Love and Monsters that came out on Netflix during the pandemic. That was really good. I actually quite liked that movie. But yeah, I had no idea that was coming out. So that's cool. Something to look forward to. Have you guys been watching anything? I'd assume not. Marvin, you're gaming. Dusty's fucking doing Dusty stuff.
Yeah, not really. I watched a couple movies, but drive out here last week and been moving stuff. So I watched Marvin, have you seen any of the Three Musketeers movies? There's probably about 30 of them.
Oh my God, no.
They're all like Man in the Iron Mask with Leonardo, or the Three Musketeers, or the Musketeers, the Fourth Musketeer. Well, I guess France finally decided to make one. It's all in French.
Oh wow!
The first
that
part
had to be fucking terrible to watch.
It's a 2-part movie. It's good. I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know if you know the story, but yeah, they left it open for the sequel, and so yeah, that one just came out.
Dusty,
nice.
You got to read.
I was talking more about the accent.
Oh
the French
well,
accent.
but I mean, most of it's in French, but some of it's in English because French and English or whatever are involved in the story, so you have to read most of the movie. But it was good.
Dusty,
that's fine. I watch anime, so I don't have any problem with subtitles.
Can't do anime. I
watch most stuff with subtitles anyway because sometimes they're just talking too low or it's not mixed well or something. So
I was just pause it and rewind it to see what the fuck are they saying.
I laughed when we were talking about that during the Dune conversation.
Oh yeah.
You and Biz were like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, because I was complaining. I don't know if you watched it, Dusty, yet, but I was complaining that it was hard to like understand a lot of them, and they were like, "You don't watch with subtitles?" I was like, "Hell no, not unless I have to."
Yeah,
I just can't do it. Dusty, this is a big day for you. In approximately 3.5 hours, your shit's dropping. You excited?
My shit's dropping.
Ahsoka.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was. I put that in the news. That's one of the great highlights of the news. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's
always stepping on your toes.
Yeah. No, it's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I've been watching Lioness. I haven't watched the latest season. I haven't really been watching any other shows. I don't think.
I planned on letting Lioness build up a little bit before I watched it. I watched 2 movies in the last 2 weeks. Really, the only things I've really watched. I watched
No Hard Feelings was one of them, right?
Yeah. Well, I watched first. I watched Night and Day, which is a movie with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. It's a fun little flick.
Right. Hadn't seen it, but I was like looking for something to watch, and I was just like, it was on my list. And
you can't go wrong with a TC movie, really.
A what? Oh, Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Well, what really sold me on is that James Mangold directed it.
Right.
It has a 6.3 on IMDb, so I was like, it's probably not going to be that great, but it was actually pretty fun, like a pretty fun, like action comedy romance thingy.
Except for The Mummy, I guess. That's really one of his only terrible movies.
Yeah. But yes, you did just mention it. I was going to bring it up because we were supposed to. Last week's episode was going to be on No Hard Feelings that we were going to push to today's episode, but I nixed that shit right off the bat because, to be honest, there's like really nothing to talk about with that movie. Did you end up watching it, Marvin, or no?
Nah. I did not watch it. I looked up the full frontal though. That was cool.
Yeah.
But that's about it. That's about all the enjoyment I got out of that one.
That's fair. And it wasn't even that big of a deal. People were like going crazy over it. It's like she was just
That's why I looked up. I kept seeing
funny.
people talking about it.
Sorry.
Oh,
what?
that was a fight scene that was from okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, this has a 6.5 on IMDb, this movie. And people were like ranting and raving about it because it's the director who did the Good Boys movie, which came out a couple years ago, that like took the world by storm because it's like a bunch of kids saying dirty shit. This movie was not good, really. I don't know what people see in this movie. Like, it had its moments, but it was just like not really that funny for a comedy.
Yeah.
And it was based on something that's like so ridiculous. And here's my problem with it. So, Marvin, just to catch you up a little bit, I'm not going to go off on a whole thing on it. I just wanted to complain about it a little bit because I was very disappointed because I was excited to watch it. But
Yeah.
the whole premise of the movie is she lives in Montauk in the Hamptons, out east on Long Island, where I live.
Okay.
And it is like a rich person vacation spot. They have like summer homes there. Okay. And she's like a townie. She's from there. And like part of her whole thing is like, wow, these fucking people come here and like hike our prices up. And like, so she's like an Uber driver and like she's trying to like afford her house that her mother left to her and all this stuff. And she's fallen on hard times. So to get some money, some quick money to pay her back taxes before her house goes up on like a lien, she looks in like, she takes a job out of an ad and it's two helicopter parents. And the term helicopter parent is a parent who's like so fucking in control of their child's life. It's like unhealthy.
Yeah.
And this kid's parents want him to basically get laid because he just sort of like sits in the house and he doesn't have friends and he doesn't do anything. And all he does is like volunteer at like a pet, like a dog pound or whatever.
Rescue center, yeah.
Yeah. So they hire her. Now she's 30 something in this movie and he's 19. Okay. So they make the kid age just enough so that it's like legal, I guess, for the movie to not be like wildly inappropriate. But it's still like, so the movie presents this whole like thing between them. Like, so she's just trying to fuck him basically to get paid. And he is like falling for her or whatever. And that's like the whole movie. But like the movie like really like tries to play off of the fact that their age difference is like so weird and awkward, but it like never actually like leaps into that. So it just sort of like skirts the line. And it was just like, I was like, none of this is like shocking or like inappropriate or fun. It was just, I don't know. It was just so bland.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought there were a couple really funny slapstick moments, and
there were a few, yeah.
I mean, other than that, I found myself getting bored with it at the end, and I didn't really even finish it. So yeah, I kind of see what you're at. It was okay, but I thought I was hoping it would be a lot funnier. And
it could have been a lot funnier. It's just like they didn't have the balls to like hard commit to the plot point, which is that their age difference is bizarre. And she's trying to fuck a teenager.
It seems like they should have did more of an age gap. They should have just got fucking.
I mean,
Cameron
they were
Diaz.
all over the place with that stuff. Like, let's put out an ad to find somebody to, be with our son, and then he can't know. Like, you put out an ad,
right? And that stuff, like, me, I don't care about that stuff. That's more of a you thing. But like, but it's just the fact that like clearly the premise was supposed to be like shocking, like a 19-year-old and a 30-something-year-old, and it's like, okay,
shit happens all the time.
Yeah, but then they just didn't like fully commit to it. So like, I don't know.
Should have got Cameron Diaz, bro, or fucking Kate Winslet,
or just made it like a little bit raunchier. Like they say the word like "come" once, so it's like supposed to be like shocking, and I don't know. Whatever. Not a great movie. Glad we didn't review it, so we'll talk about it.
Yep.
Couple of funny moments, but I don't know why it got the hype that it got. As far as the nudity thing, it's like that was another thing I didn't understand. Like people were like going crazy that she did like a full nude scene, and it's like, okay, so she's fully nude, and I guess like good for her because I was reading that like, oh, like she was one of the first people whose pictures got leaked all over the internet when the fappening happened like a couple years back. So I guess this was her like taking the power back and being like, oh no, I'm willing to be nude. I don't give a fuck. And that's cool and all, but like the scene
That's
itself,
cool.
like wasn't really that big of a deal. It's like, Jesus Christ, people, have you never seen like a fucking naked person before? Like, give me a fucking break.
Right.
But
Yep.
anyhow, yeah, that's really it. That's the update. So Dusty, what about the news? What's going on? What's going on out there? Oh, wait,
well-
real quick. Matthew Broderick was kind of funny in this. It was cool to see Matthew Broderick. He's like
oh yeah,
old as fuck, but yeah.
yeah, that was good.
What's going
the
on?
news, the strike continues. I don't know what day we're on. I've got different notes here. I'm not on my actual computer.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, WGA has been negotiating on and off for the past week or two, but not much has been to close. They feel like they'll get more done if they're not airing what either side is trying to get or not get. But one of the big ones is studios want to be able to pay a background actor for a single day of work and then scan their likeness and use it forever for no additional compensation.
Right.
So like there'll be no more regulars in movies anymore because they can just reuse scans of people that they've already paid 50 to 150 bucks for one day.
That's crazy.
And apparently Disney was already doing this. So
Wow.
Shout out to Bob. What the fuck?
Disney's been up to a lot of shady shit.
Yeah. They're
We've
scheduled
come
to
to
meet again
find
this
out.
week, but who knows how the negotiations are coming. I think the Screen Actors Guild is just going to wait until the Writers Guild gets their agreement in, and then they'll probably just go back to work because
Right.
this is really a WGA strike. The SAG is just kind of striking, I think, in unison, but there are some things they
Fair.
actually want to. So,
You think there's any other game shows affected by the writer's strike? Like
I don't
fucking
know.
Family Feud or like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Is that still coming on?
I
The
think-
next UFC was delayed. I don't know if that has anything to do with the strike.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
wow.
Everything's
Everything.
Yeah,
it's a
everything.
wasteland out there.
Yeah.
The news is gonna stop coming on. You're not gonna know
Yeah.
what the fuck's going on in the streets.
Yeah, we're just gonna be watching fucking AI fake news. It's just like nonsense.
Our boy Zachary Levi continues to trash Hollywood during the strike. He was where was he at? He talked a little bit about it at the Chicago Fan Expo. That's where he was at. That's what he said. I personally feel like the amount of now trashing Hollywood or speaking truth, you decide. I personally feel like the amount of content that comes out of Hollywood that is garbage. They don't care enough to actually make it great for you guys. They don't. How many times do you watch a trailer and go, "Oh my god, this looks so cool," and you go to the movie and it's like, "This is what I get." They know once you've already bought the ticket and you're in the seat, they've got your money. And the only way for that to change is to not go out and see the garbage. Have to actively choose not choose the garbage. It'll help, and it'll help a lot.
It's true.
I'm way ahead of the curve on that one.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
going out to see anything.
you are not the majority because the same issue exists. The same issue and solution exists in video games.
Yeah.
AAA video game companies have been putting out trash for years. Okay? Call of Duty being one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe the most predominant one. And
sports games.
Yeah, and people just buy Madden and buy Call of Duty year after year after year after year, and then they continue to complain about those games. Like, it's very simple, people. Just stop giving them money, and then they'll change what they're doing. They'll change their strategy. Why would they change? Why would they fix something that's not broken? It's a saying for a reason. We're still making millions of dollars, billions,
hundreds
even
of millions. Yeah, hundreds of millions, if not billions.
Why would we change anything? Why?
Because I mean, if it was that easy, there would be all kinds of strikes. But like,
not even striking.
People aren't willing to take the step themselves without other people doing it first.
Well, yeah, but it's like I've taken the step. I'm a big NHL video game fan, as Dusty knows. I stopped buying those fucking things years ago because they suck ass. I mean, now I'm not me one person. I'm not going to change anything. But like, if more people stop buying the game, they're going to have to be like, well, we're not selling the game. So like, maybe we should try something a little bit different. And Call of Duty is the same thing. Every year, everybody just complains about the game. Well, if you want it to get better, stop buying it.
Yep. I don't know the last Call of Duty I bought.
Yeah, I don't remember. Probably, I think the Modern Warfare remake or whatever the fuck a couple years ago. But like, they're just ass. So I don't know. Same thing. It's just, yeah. These corporate douchebags, they don't, they just are soulless, and they make soulless products.
Yep.
And
it's both sides. Fucking games, movies, shows, the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
They're all
entertainment
making terrible
industry,
shit just for money.
pump out the shittiest thing they can if it'll make them a buck. They don't
And,
care.
and we've already like seen this happen, like with the record industry. That was like the first industry to really like corporatize, and like, I don't know why. Not the first industry to corporatize. That was like the wrong thing to say. But like, you know, back in like the fucking 80s and 70s is when like, well, even before that too, like with Elvis and fucking Johnny Cash, and like you just have like these record companies that fucking just like want to fucking just get in there and be like, nah, give me 50 fucking records a year, but change it and don't do this and like be different because we want to get a wide range of audiences. But music is the only industry where like the creators really were just like, nah, fuck that.
Well, they were selling access too. They're like, you can record in our studios. We know the radio DJs. We can get you on the air. Like back then, they were selling something different, and all that collapsed when like people were like, I can get my music heard without you. I can record this shit without you. Fuck you. What do I need to give you 80% of everything I'm making while I fucking tour in this shitty van?
Yeah, but even still to this day, bands like, you know, I listen to a lot of like punk music, so a lot of the time it's independent, but most of these bands, like, they will tell you flat out, like, they make most of their money on merch sales and ticket sales. So it's like, it's it's just crazy. Like, unless they're busting their ass and traveling around the country and all over the fucking place performing, like, they're just not making money.
Nope.
So yeah, fucked up.
Being lucky and timing. Anyhow, not a lot of WB news. James Gunn debunks rumors that there was a cut Ben Affleck voice cameo in the Blue Beetle. Apparently somebody said that that was in there. I don't know why that would be in there. That's
speaking of Blue Beetle,
Snyderverse, not the DCEU.
Not to cut you off, but speaking of Blue Beetle, I have it on good authority from Ed himself. Shout out to Ed.
Shout out, Ed.
He saw it this weekend, and he gave it a 7 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, he said it was very
That's still
good.
mid. That's still mid range, though. That's like kind of mid. I feel like 7.
No, that's
7 is kind of mid.
That's on the cusp between mid and great. It's on the cusp.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Mid and great, yeah.
7, I think, is 7 is like right the borderline. But
yeah, I mean, you're 2 from 5 and you're 3 from 10. So.
he said he said it was very good though. He quite enjoyed it, and unfortunately, it's a fucking another bomb. The 7th.
Is it really? I thought it just knocked Barbie out or something.
Oh, hell no. Maybe it knocked it out of this weekend, but it only made $25 million in its opening.
Oh,
that's
25 million August 18th to 20th was what it made. Barbie only made 21 million this weekend, so it was the number one for the weekend. Yes,
just for the weekend.
But Barbie's been out for several weeks now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I remember
it's at 1.2 billion.
Yeah,
and I think Oppenheimer's at 700 million. Or
so for an
like
opening, this is a flop, and it's the 7th
for sure
Warner Brothers DC flop in a row.
Right,
not good.
Well, 7 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was greenlit before Gunn and Efron. Zaffron took over, and they apparently had minimal interaction with this movie. I'm sure they're like, well, we got to do this or we got to do that if we're going to keep it, because James Gunn seems to, he was at the red carpet. He's like, looking forward to Blue Beetle being in the DC in the future.
Right.
So he's going to use him, but he didn't have a lot to do with this movie.
No, but all the Zack Snyder people are like throwing blame at him. It's like, fire James Gunn now. He can't run this. It's like he had nothing to do with this movie. Guy stepped into his job like 2 months ago. Like, this movie was like greenlit like a long fucking time ago. What are you talking about? But yeah, Ed said it was pretty good. He said it was fun. Hey, he enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So
let's go.
I was gonna see it.
Mexican Spider-Man winning. That's good.
Easy made a good Easy. That's my nickname for Ed. I just said it instinctively. Ed, he is Cuban, and you know, he and I talk a lot about stuff we've talked about here about like representation in film and this, that, and the other thing. And he came right out and said, he's like, because I told him, I was like, yeah, it's a flop. He's like, how is this shit a flop, bro? He's like, it's one of the first like Hispanic fucking superheroes we've gotten on the screen. He's like, fucking Hispanic people should be fucking coming to see this movie in waves and droves. He's like, what the fuck are they doing? Right. He's like, they want to cry about representation and then they get something and they don't go out to see it. And I agree, because when Black Panther came out, I went to see that movie. The theater was fucking packed, and it was like majority of people like in like ethnic fucking clothing, like they were wearing, what are they called, like dashikis or some shit, the African.
I don't fucking know. I hate that shit. I don't wear that shit.
You have to ask Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I got to ask Pelosi. That's true. No, dude, it was crazy. I felt like I was like in Wakanda watching this movie. But that's awesome, because like that's
no, that is cool.
That's what you want. They like you want people to come out and fucking support your shit, and when especially when they're making original characters that like represent your thing. Otherwise, you're gonna get fucking, you know, Tom Cruise playing a fucking Hispanic guy at some point.
Well,
like,
this goes back to marketing too. Like,
oh, this movie was marketed terribly, Blue Beetle. I talked about that last time. I complained. I don't have the energy to complain.
WB needs to fire their entire department and just get a new one or something, bro.
WB is the most soulless company I think I've ever encountered. And I was joking. I was telling you guys about Comic-Con coming to New York soon, couple of months. And I was thinking about going to see John Carpenter because he's going to be there. Might have him sign my mask if I can.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And I could bow to his feet. But also, Jeff Johns is going to be there. And I might wait online for him just to tell him that he's a fucking cocksucker. Jeff Johns, Marvin, if you don't know.
Who the fuck is Jeff Johns?
He is a famous, one of the bigger comic book writers in the industry, working for DC. Okay? But he was the person in charge of the DCEU, essentially, when Zack Snyder was writing everything. So Jeff Johns is the one that like greenlit all of those ideas and stories and Martha and everything that we all hate. But the worst part about it was the disaster that was the Justice League came down to the fact that they rushed the movie out because every one of these motherfuckers, these executives, including Jeff Johns, had a fucking bonus that they were going to get before. This was before Warner Brothers merged with, who bought Warner Brothers, Dusty? You would know, not me. A couple years back. Who bought out Warner Brothers?
Was Warner Brothers and, oh my goodness, not Paramount.
Discovery?
Yeah, Discovery. Yeah,
so before this merger went through, they were set to make pre-merger bonuses. But the bonuses were contingent on the Justice League being released. Yeah. So they basically just greenlit, rushed the fucking movie out as is, dog shit, so they could get their fucking checks. So fuck Jeff Johns, bro. You're supposed to be a fucking comic book purist, okay?
Yeah.
Anyhow. So I'm going to wait online and I'm going to tell him, and be like, yo, you're a fucking asshole and you should never work again. Give me your fucking autograph.
You should slap him.
I might. Never know. I might get arrested.
Hit him with the Will Smith.
Imagine.
Yeah, I can't record tonight, guys. I'm in fucking Rikers.
You got to make sure it's recorded, though, if you do it.
Oh, my God.
Sure
we'll
you
blow
get it on the footage.
up on TikTok. Could you imagine? Dan slaps Jeff Johns. That'd be great.
That's content.
That'd be so funny.
Hey, go follow us on TikTok. Wait for that video. Go ahead.
David Ayer took some grief from the haters this last week after posting some concept artwork. I think for the Joker from Suicide Squad. It showed him without a face tattoo.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, look at this. It's just like fucking Snyder. Like, it's just retconning. Like, oh, I never wanted to do it. And so he had to like own up to it. He's like, I own the tattoo idea 100%. It was my choice. Original idea was it would say blessed and not damaged.
Even worse. Go ahead.
Having said that, I regret that decision.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Right. Not all ideas are great ideas. So yeah, he was taking some heat on Twitter.
I mean,
this comment.
I mean, they should have just made him a rapper with the forehead tattoo. That'd have been lit.
He looked like a fucking rapper. Did you see that movie, Marvin?
Jared Leto.
Suicide Squad?
Yeah. The first one. Yeah, he had like grills and shit. It's like, bro, what are you fucking...
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Dude, Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad because, you know, he talked about
he was thugging, bro.
he was thugging. Talked about how like he took a lot of heat, was depressed and all that bullshit. It's like, all right, I get it. Yeah. Cool. You shouldn't be like attacked personally because of your shitty decisions.
That's people stand in line for hours to tell them they're a piece of shit. They should never work again.
Yeah, but listen.
I mean, people have to do that though, because otherwise they just get away with this shit.
Yeah,
with no type of, or they'll just think, "Oh, I did such a great job." You know. So
I actually had this thought recently. Okay, I've told you guys, my friend, she has recently gotten into Star Wars, which is awesome because I think everybody should get involved into Star Wars. Unfortunately, she happens to like the original trilogy very much, and that's fine with me. I don't care. However, you know, her and I have like not arguments, but like we go back and forth about like the substance of those movies and also the new trilogy because she quite likes the whole like romance that came up out of nowhere between Rey and fucking what's his name. But the thought came into my head of like, you know, fandoms get very toxic, right? But also
they should.
But also, yeah, I mean to a limit, and that's what I was getting at. It's like, if you're,
I mean, they shouldn't be burning down people's houses.
Of course,
but
yeah.
If you want to say,
you got a whole picture with you.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Shouts out to Pure. Well, no, they don't sponsor us, but you know, it is what it is.
Look at this guy. Go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off.
Me?
Yeah, I cut you off. You were talking about like fandoms. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be burning down houses and.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you should be able to, you know, within reason, you know, within reason, you should be able to say something to people about their performance.
If
somebody does something and you're passionate about it and you don't like something they did, you can let them know. I mean, but there's tact to it too. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Like, I feel
be a
like
piece of shit troll keyboard commando, like hiding behind anonymity. Like, go get in somebody's face and tell them what you think about it.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to like comic books or stuff like that, where it's already been, you know, the vision of the character is already out there, is fine. I feel like when fans criticize music, though, it's a little bit different. Like, I think you shouldn't criticize it the same way you would criticize something that already exists as like media in a form. You know what I mean? Like,
that happens a lot though. Like, look at what's his name. I posted the video of him doing the NPR concert the other day. I don't know if you guys watched it.
Post Malone.
Yeah, Post Malone. It was a great performance, and I've never listened to him in a day in my life. I don't listen to a lot of hip hop.
Yeah, he's talented.
And yeah, and I thought he was just like a clown. Like, oh, look at this guy with face tattoos and grills and shit. And then I saw him do a cover of a Bob Dylan song just on an acoustic guitar, and I was like, oh wow, like he's actually pretty talented. And then I watched that, and I was like,
yeah, he's talented.
I was like, wow, this is crazy. But his new album is nothing like his old albums. He's not doing hip hop anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you gotta.
Well, you grow.
I mean,
you grow as an artist.
Artists change, you grow, or you use your original means of music just to get your foot in the game, so you could do what you really want to do.
Bob Dylan fucking reinvented himself literally every decade of his career, and is still doing it to this day. The guy's like 80 fucking 4 years old. Yeah, no, absolutely. I just think music is a little bit different because what happens with movies, and again, I complain about the shit all the time with Superman, for instance, in Zack Snyder's vision for it. It's like. And with now David Ayer with the Joker, it's like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, bro. Like, the shit's been done before.
Right.
You could throw a little bit of your fucking, of your identity onto it. Look what Heath Ledger did with the Joker.
Yep.
But it didn't change the identity of the Joker in what any way. It actually, it strengthened what the Joker is and like his enigma, because he was so fucking good at it. You know, you don't got to change the fucking thing. Ed sent me a TikTok, yesterday, actually, I think, which was like a meme of the scene in Man of Steel when Jonathan Kent dies to the tornado, and he just like holds his hand out and is like, don't save me at the speed of light, which nobody would see whatsoever.
Right.
Like, you don't got to change those things, dude. Like,
that's hilarious.
So I get it when fandoms are like, when you're passionate about something, as silly as it sounds, being passionate about fucking Star Wars, like, these things ignite emotions in people. So when it's not done to your liking, like, I get why you would be disappointed. Of course, don't be a fucking scumbag, though. You can voice your opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I feel bad for David Ayer having to deal with that, but also, you know, you brought it on yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's doubling down. Like, hey, look, my concept art. Like, it was gonna say blessed, not damaged. Like, dude, that's not better. I don't know.
Hashtag. He should have put a hashtag in front of it. That would have been better.
Hashtag damaged.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah. Sorry for the rant. Anyhow.
No. This next piece is from. We're gonna hit a couple pieces from Jeff Snyder. So this is partly DC, and then we'll partly Disney. So the Hot Mic is a podcast. Co-host Jeff Snyder is an insider. We've talked about him before.
Yeah.
He actually dismissed the rumors of Mando season 4 being turned into a movie. He said it's a show, it's a series. It's definitely a season of television and not a movie, is what he said, actually.
Okay.
He was also taken aback by the Wonder Woman 3 news that Gal Gadot hinted at in her interview. He's like, I don't know why you bring James Gunn in and Peter Safran to reboot the DCU if they're not going to reboot the DCU. I don't know why they would hire someone who isn't Patty Jenkins to come in and do Wonder Woman 3 and then not let that person cast their Wonder Woman. So
I gotta say, I think I've been pretty supportive of like James Gunn, what he's trying to do. But I said last episode that he's not marketing the shit well. But also that Gal Gadot thing like really kind of freaked me out a little bit because, as we've been talking about here for a while, and a bulk of this episode is that it's the fucking the corporate involvement really is at the end of the day what fucked over the DC. Like Zack Snyder's vision is one thing, but like it was their involvement that really fucked the shit up because he didn't get to flesh out his vision in his defense. Okay. And now I feel like this is happening again because it makes no fucking sense that James Gunn would have like gotten rid of Henry Cavill and like all the other characters, Ben Affleck and all this stuff, but kept Gal Gadot. Right. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that Warner Brothers was like, yeah, we want to keep Gal. So it seems like there's still some corporate involvement going on, which has me a little bit worried. That's all.
Right.
Because James Gunn can only do what he's allowed to do at the end of the day. Like he still has bosses to answer to, right?
That's right.
So I don't know. Yeah, maybe the DC is just destined to not have good movies. That's always a possibility. They have good animation.
They put out a few.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not in a while.
Well, they blew up their entire fucking animation department, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, on to Disney. As Dan already said, at Star Wars actually tweeted out some good news. Ahsoka is getting bumped. It's actually coming out tomorrow, August 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific
I didn't know
time
it was a bump.
On Disney Plus. Yeah, it was supposed to come out Wednesday. They release on Wednesdays. So like, hey guys, here's a present. It's coming out on Tuesday. Have fun.
Yeah, it's just a little present that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they recently announced that they're just like hemorrhaging subscribers.
Oh yeah,
they gotta.
We'll
has
get
nothing
into
to
that.
do with that.
Actually, we can get into that a little bit because we had talked about.
That's actually a good point.
We had talked about it a little bit before because there was reports that like Dan said, Zaslav wants to sell basically Disney. And all of that was rumors and speculation. And then we had the report that they sold like the music division to Sony. Like, and it was just like,
wait, what did I say?
Stuff. There were rumors that like Zaslav wanted to sell everything.
Zaslav? No, isn't he from DC?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, Iger.
Bob Iger. There you go.
Iger wanted to sell basically everything. He was going to gut Disney. But there were like, the only report that they were selling is like they sold some music rights and some of their music divisions to Sony and some of the other music companies around.
Yeah.
And then there was the restructuring of TCM that got Spielberg and a couple of the big names involved to make sure that he didn't fuck that up.
Right.
But yeah, so streaming services have been losing money on subscribers. Disney Plus lost 4 million subscribers last quarter and expected to have a hit loss of 800 million in the third quarter. Then they've been hemorrhaging money in India. Like they had Disney Plus Hotstar is what it was called. They lost the streaming rights to Indian Premier League cricket matches, which led them to lose 3.8 million subscribers in quarter one and 4.6 million subscribers in quarter two. And that is one
that
thing.
Many people watching cricket?
Yo, it's popular
in India. Hey, you just look up the population of India. Yeah, there's 4 or 5 million people watching that shit.
That's fair. Yeah. No, that makes sense though. This release timing because Q3 ends September 30th, so they got to get the numbers right for Q3.
Just
but
for
it's
reference,
reported that he wants to get rid of like that whole India division. Like he wants to sell it. He's done with it. They lost their access or the rights to the Premier League. He wants to dump it.
there are 1.4 billion people.
Yeah,
in India.
Yep,
and they're losing. Yeah, they're losing like 4 million subscribers a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they lost access to cricket.
And nobody watched listen, nobody's watching the Disney Plus stuff. That's just what it is. Nobody's watching the Marvel stuff. Like the Star Wars stuff is maybe a little bit more popular, but like it's a failed experiment. I think. Like I get it.
I mean, yeah. They might have invested too much.
Well, that's the thing is like Disney, I mean, what, a decade or two ago, you wouldn't have, if you, like 2 decades ago, if you'd have said, or even a decade and a half, like you said, Disney's going to own, Marvel, Disney's going to own Hulu, and this is like all the stuff that they bought, you'd be like, no, they're not going to own all that shit. They're not going to have Star Wars and Marvel. It's Disney. They have all that shit now, and that might be spread too far. But it says he's going to he plans to hold on to Hulu. But they'll have to buy Comcast's 33% stake in Hulu in 2024. I think that's coming up on the table. Bob Iger did say that ABC is technically not core, so they may sell like ABC to somebody. He reportedly wants to hold on to ESPN. He likes it, but he's looking for a business partner to come in and help with it, financial stuff. So and a lot of it has to do with the strike. Streaming is not going as well as they thought. Live television is dying. So
good.
They're trying to restructure and figure out. And that's why, early on, Iger said, during the strike, he's like, they're being unreasonable. Basically, what he was saying is like, we can't afford to lose millions of dollars every quarter. We just can't do it. Like, this is unreasonable.
Hey, make good shit and you won't.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Yeah,
but no,
that's true.
Honestly, the strikes aside, I think we're witnessing like a complete upheaval of the entertainment industry in terms of like movies and television.
Yeah.
Because things are not working the way they used to be. I think there was it's all just so bloated and crazy and not sustainable. Like it's part.
Yeah, there's too many competitors now. It's way too saturated. No one's going to subscribe to 6 different fucking platforms.
And they're just not
Would you rather have it all in one, though? Because the rumors are that if he sold to anybody, it would be to Apple. So everybody would have to become an Apple TV subscriber. If you want Star Wars, if you want Marvel, if you want Disney, if you want anything Apple, just go subscribe to Apple.
Yeah, I think
I don't know what people... They need to get I don't know what people would prefer, but they need to get a grasp on it. I don't think people...
Well, the a la carte,
I mean, they just keep... Maybe streaming is just
works. It's just too expensive.
No.
Maybe streaming isn't like the answer anymore, like all these streaming services. Like it was good when it was like 1 or 2 people because everyone would go to like Netflix. They had they had like the lead for a while, I imagine, before everybody was like, oh, they're doing that. Let me copy that and do what they're doing. Now it's just like...
Right.
It's going to be too saturated because it's like I feel like it's such a weird business model to even have. Like you got to push out shit just to keep people. And then that's just bound to come out. And that's just bound to have you pushing out subpar shit.
Yeah. It's the one thing that I agree with. I've joked about it before, like Martin Scorsese and some other filmmakers' complaints about Marvel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Saying those movies aren't film, that's fucking bozo fucking nonsense shit to say.
Yeah.
But where I do understand is and what's his name was talking about this recently. I told you guys I watch from time to time. GQ has actors on, and they do
sit downs with other random.
No, the one where the actor will go through their most famous roles and talk about them a little bit.
Oh.
And Michael Cera was recently on.
Okay.
And Michael Cera is a film buff, an old school film buff, which is funny because he doesn't come off like that in his movies at all, but that's who he is as a person.
He actually does seem like the type. I ain't gonna lie. He does seem like that type of guy.
Nick Cage.
Hipster film buff.
Hipster, yeah. He seems like that type.
Yeah. And he lives in New York, so he's just a hipster automatically.
This is bound to happen, yeah.
But he was talking about that very thing. movies, because I think they were talking about Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Have either of you ever seen that movie?
I always want to watch it. I haven't seen it. No.
It's a great movie, and I actually thought about putting it on a Make Marvin Watch when he talked about it, because I was like, oh fuck, that movie's great. But it's like a little rom-com. But he was talking about it being like he was saying that there was a time a couple years back when movies had like an indie movie feel to them, and they were even called indie movies, but they were not independent at all. They were like pretty big budgeted movies put out by studios.
Yeah.
But they had like this like whole like indie sort of like identity to them. And he was like, movies like that just don't exist anymore. He's like, I don't know if a movie like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist would get made today. And it's true, it wouldn't, because the only movies that get made today are Marvel movies or fucking big comic book movies. And yeah, Marvel's partially to blame for that because they were so successful, but like, it's not their fault. Like, they were making good stuff that people liked, but the industry is changing. So that's where I was going.
Yes. Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
And so, the executives don't know how to change. Like, they don't know what to do. So they put out.
They're at a loss right now for sure.
Yeah.
Because they were rolling on autopilot for the longest time, and stuff is starting to change.
It's just free money. Yeah.
When you're a Netflix and you're only charging what, $9.99 a month, and you have millions of subscribers and you're making billions of dollars, you can waste money on shit content just to see what works. Because sometimes you're like, that's a surefire hit and it sucks, and that one's gonna suck, but it's a surefire hit. Like, you're not gonna know. But when all these companies went to a la carte, and then they started charging more, and it's not $9.99 for all these places, it's $15.99 or it's $19.99.
Yeah.
And then when you have 2 or 3 of these, you're paying the same fucking price as cable, which is fucking dying because people can't afford to pay all that shit. It's like you have to pick and choose, and you can't even get cable while you're doing all that shit because all the shit is exclusive on these fucking streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So you're fucked either way.
Right.
Joe Pesci and fucking Lethal, they fuck you at the drive-thru. They fuck you at the telephone.
They do fuck you at the drive-thru.
What would be best for the consumer that they would never do is like some sort of like, you make your own subscription thing. Like
a build
I like this from this one.
Yeah.
I like this from this one.
Yeah.
But it would never work because one, the price, you would only be willing to pay so much for what you really want to watch. And then it's not going to make sense for them to come together to provide that. You
also have to keep in mind the consumer is the literal like bottom of the barrel thing of importance when it comes to this. Yeah. Like, they don't give a fuck about the consumer whatsoever. And what Dusty was just saying, that was Netflix's model for a really long time. Like, just like throwing shit at a dartboard and it's like, oh, that show didn't do great, so cancel it. Like, there's a ton of Netflix shows that got canceled after the first season because they just didn't do great. But like, I think it just all goes back to one simple thing. It's like, if you make good stuff, people will watch it. That's it.
That's it.
I think
it's probably also too like they keep trying to get the big names instead of like, I feel like Stranger Things, for example, like those weren't big names. Like, they just built that from the ground up, so to speak, you know?
Yeah.
But like we watched that, they cloned Tyrone. It's like, that was a great movie, but they still had like the big names in it.
Yeah.
You know,
well, like,
so it's like
Red Notice, the Gal Gadot movie that came out that like spy action was with The Rock.
Yeah.
I think we reviewed it on Netflix. She just came out with another one called
We didn't review it.
Heart of Stone. Heart of Stone that's very similar.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're just paying people like,
they're just paying the big names.
Do a couple movies for us. It'll be a big name. It'll make some money. It'll get some streams. Yeah, it's great.
That's why they need so much fucking money. They have to pay these fucking big ass actors, bro.
That's why I've been
greed. Like, these companies raced so fast because, I mean, we're just now getting into the high speed digital age where everybody can stream, and still everybody can't because
that's true.
You know, there's people in rural America that are still on fucking like dial up. All right,
which is crazy.
Shout out to those guys,
Jasper.
But these companies raced so fast to build their streaming platforms, and they spent so much money into it, and now they're all fucking losing money hand over fist because they all wanted to be first to the top of the mountain, and they can't figure out how to fucking make it work because they were so fucking preoccupied with getting there first that they didn't get there.
But they're also approaching it in the wrong way. They
didn't get there the right way, is what I'm saying.
Like, Apple has blown me away because everything I've watched on Apple TV has been great.
Apple makes
there's
a couple that I was like, but
I
they
don't
make some
know.
really good shows.
I don't know how many subscribers they have versus the other ones. I'm sure Netflix is probably still top dog in that regard, but like I think it really is just as simple as make good stuff, people will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all it boils down to.
Yeah.
You know? Marvin coined the phrase mid fatigue.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
There's not comic book movie fatigue. The movie we're reviewing in a few minutes is proof of that. It did great.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's not that people don't want to go watch comic book movies or this, that, or the other. It's like, make a good fucking movie and people will watch it. And real quick, talking about Martin Scorsese, I recently watched The Irishman, and I watched it when it first came out, and I never finished it because it's 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it's long.
I haven't finished it.
Imagine being making a 3.5 hour movie. I watched it, and it's like, it's an okay movie, but it's not in the fucking
just long
pantheon of what I would consider a great Martin Scorsese movie. And it's like, bro, you're complaining that you're getting like outshone by these Marvel movies that aren't cinema. It's like, make a fucking movie without Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci in it about something other than the mafia. Please, like, make something else. People will go see it. You're Martin Scorsese.
He made fucking Wolf of Wall Street, bro. We need another something like that. Yeah.
That's why.
Hey, actually, Killers of the Flower Moon comes out this year, right? That's him.
And it's going to be
that's going to be good, probably. But it's also 3.5 hours.
It'll be good because all his movies are good. But
3.5 hours, bro.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, this is why. Okay, so this is why I say, and I will.
It does have Robert De Niro in it.
Of course it does, bro. Of course it does.
Yeah.
And and it is. Of course it does. Look at the list: Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jesse Plemons, who was in fucking Irishman. Like, it's okay. Anyway. I will stand firm on this to the day I die. Steven Spielberg is the greatest filmmaker of all time, purely because of the fact that he has made nearly every genre of movie imaginable, and they're almost always good. Okay, so you know, I don't know how well his last movie did. We talked about The Fabelmans.
Spielberg might be the GOAT. Actually, I'm just looking through.
He's 100% the GOAT. There's nobody better than him. If not just for that alone, that like he has like Bob Dylan. He's the Bob Dylan of movies. Yeah.
The versatility is crazy. Yeah.
Like
Jaws, E.T., Jurassic Park, Ready Player One, even like that's Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
there's some bangers in there.
Just make good shit. The Fabelmans, his last movie, we reviewed it here on the channel. Go check it out, folks.
That was good too.
It was great. Made $43.2 million globally. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to find what the budget was. Like,
I mean, he made both Gremlins and Ready Player One. Like that's
I know,
crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Is make good movies and people go see them. So The Fabelmans wasn't that profitable. It cost him $40 million to make. It grossed $45 million worldwide. So it's a $5 million.
We're in the green.
You're in the green.
But
again,
a few million advertising.
Oh, the advertising. Yeah, you're right.
It's probably a break even.
Yeah,
but it's still a good movie.
That's fine for like a personal project, though. That's like he probably didn't intend to like do numbers.
No, yeah, it was a personal project for sure.
Yeah,
and that's basically what I'm
like
getting
when an
at.
artist drops like one of those, like one of those albums that a lot of people don't like, but then like the true fans like, oh yeah, I see what he was doing there.
Yeah, so that's the point I was trying to make is that Steven Spielberg makes a movie, motherfuckers go see that shit. Because he's Steven Spielberg. So, anyhow.
Facts.
Yeah. So, speaking of mid fatigue, shout out to Marvin for coining that phrase. Other people.
Yeah, because let's let the record reflect that who was it that stole my shit?
It was Ryan from Screen Crush.
He watches our stuff.
Ryan.
Shout out to Ryan.
What's going on there, bud?
Yeah.
I know you ain't thought of that shit yourself.
Speaking of. Nia DaCosta, the director of The Marvels, was promoting the movie during an interview with Total Film Magazine in which the term superhero fatigue came up.
Real quick, I was just sucking the dick of Spielberg, and now I look at his thing. Gremlins 3's coming out. He's an executive producer.
Oh, absolutely.
Gremlins 3?
Gremlins 3. I'm looking forward to that.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good. He's producer, though. He's not directing. Anyway, continue. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So she says, I think superhero fatigue absolutely exists. And then she goes on to say the biggest difference between The biggest difference from other MCU movies to date is that the Marvels is really wacky and silly.
She's the director, yeah.
The worlds we go to in this movie are worlds unlike others you've seen in the MCU, bright worlds that you haven't seen before. So
I doubt that.
In order to get past superhero fatigue, we're going to be silly and wacky and go to bright worlds you've never seen before.
We already had silly and wacky with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Hey, listen.
We had a lot of silly, wacky worlds there.
She just said doesn't make any sense to me about superhero fatigue. We're talking about mid fatigue, which is.
I will say,
tell a good story, people.
One thing she did say that gave me a spark of positivity for that movie is that she actually said that, well, so she claimed to be a big comic book fan, and that, whenever, my thing now is when somebody says I'm a fan, I'm fucking running in the opposite direction.
If they show me your long box.
Well, she said,
"What is that long box? Oh, like comics,
storage, the book store them.
Storage.
Yeah.
You got a long box full of comics. You're a fan. If you
it's like
don't,
you're
a fan.
But what she did say, she was saying how she's a fan of comic books, and then she went on to complain that she didn't like how Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness handled incursions, which is like a big thing. No, I was actually like, oh shit, okay, so she kind of like she's showing her receipts a little bit. That's kind of positive.
Yeah, we'll see, because this whole thing is about, all the three of them, swapping places and trying to figure out how to save the world.
Well, they're in quantum entanglement, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Yep.
Speaking of big news, we reported on last time I was here, the IATSE, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, have reached a stipulated election agreement with Disney and Marvel on a date to allow its workers to vote to unionize.
Nice.
We reported on Marvel, the graphics effects. Marvel shit on third-party graphics effects companies, and so they decided to internalize. And as soon as they did, their workers wanted to unionize. And the election begins actually today, August 21st. So the union vote is open, and the deadline to turn in ballots is Monday, September 11th.
Right.
It's really unclear which guild the graphics, the VFX workers will join as of yet, but the vote is underway. So. This is a big one because graphics and VFX artists they're like the last bastion of Hollywood that has remained non-union. And
yeah,
once Disney and Marvel workers unionize, I'm sure the rest will fall into suit, and then we'll have another. It'll be the VAG, the VFX Artists Guild.
VAG.
We call it VAG instead.
They'll be striking along with the WJ and the SAG. The VAG and the SAG and the WGA will always striking together.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of the VAG and the SAG.
Same.
Personally.
Not a saggy VAG, but
nah. But hey, anyway.
Good times.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Now on to one of our scoopers. Can we get some toast? Got a couple of things. Yeah. Scoop the Mephisto won't appear in Agatha Covenant of Chaos, but may get a mention. So they're going to mention Mephisto and Agatha Covenant. It's like witchcraft. It makes sense. Somebody's going to say, oh, Mephisto, don't bring him.
I don't want to hear about rumors unless it's about fucking Silver Surfer from now on.
Channing Tatum. Go ahead.
Real quick, back to Agatha. I think I was reading an article about it's going to have the most episodes of a Marvel show. Which is interesting. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's fucking stupid.
I'm on the fence on this one. It's going to be like they're going to incorporate some musical stuff into this, so it's going to be like a musical /
because the song was popular.
Serious /
6 episodes to handle one of the biggest comic book plot lines ever in comics. They handle in 6 30-minute episodes, but they're going to give Agatha more episodes.
Well, this is going to be our first real, right? I mean, besides the, Werewolf by Night, this will be like one of the first ones into the, you said Marvel's breaking off into what they're breaking off to, the dark stuff and the superhero stuff and the space stuff. This will be one of the first ones we get to see that goes into the dark magic, the dark arts,
But it's not going to be good because they're only making it because of the song that was in WandaVision. Yeah. Like, that's the only reason they're making it.
I know.
Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna judge it before I watch it. That's not fair. But it's not.
Man, can we just get Blade already?
Well, we got Deadpool 3 coming out.
That's true.
Apparently, Channing Tatum will be getting a comic-accurate suit for his portrayal of Gambit in Deadpool. Purple armor, trench coat, and all. Hopefully, the staff and everything. Looking forward to that. This is just going to be like Channing Tatum wanted a Gambit movie so bad, and he couldn't get it done. So the fact that he gets to play Gambit in Deadpool 3, even if he doesn't get to do it ever again, it's kind of like a, sorry, Chep, here's your fucking consolation prize. But
man, I don't
hey,
know, man.
maybe he'll be.
I still don't know how I feel about him being fucking Gambit. He's like too much of a fucking meathead.
I want them to go down to Nolan's and fucking pick out a proper fucking Cajun. Is what I want.
That's right.
I want the accent. Yeah. And then the last thing that Can We Get Some Toast report on was Emma Corrin will be portraying Cassandra Nova in Deadpool 3. Cassandra Nova is Xavier's Professor X's twin.
Who's playing her?
Emma Corrin.
Professor Xavier has a twin?
Yeah, her role was unreported, and now it's Can We Get Some Toast has said that Emma Corrin will be playing Cassandra Nova, who is Professor X's twin. They battled in the womb. Professor X tried to kill her telepathically and failed, and now she spends the rest of her days trying to
she looks fucked up.
Yeah, it's a weird stuff that they're doing, but I get it. I mean, I'd rather they do Legion.
It's Deadpool.
I'm
here for it.
Yeah, it's Deadpool. So yeah, absolutely, it'll be fun. So that's what our scooper Can We Get Some Toast has done last couple weeks since I've been gone.
Nice.
Yeah, and Darbine. Fuck, I don't even know if I
don't know what you're saying.
The villain in the upcoming Marvels movie will be wielding Ronan's hammer.
Oh yeah,
Ronan the Accuser.
Female Ronan.
Yeah. Let's see what the director was talking about it. Here's what I would say about that. Which in the comics, it's called the Universal Weapon. I would just say that for anyone watching the film or having expectations, just know that I am deeply devoted to the comics, and so there will always be clues there. So the Universal Weapon is something that Ronan used and Darbin used and stuff. So they're bringing back Ronan's hammer, the big that had the Power Stone, right? The purple one. That was the Power Stone.
He never. Well, yeah, I guess he had it for like a second.
Put it in the hammer. Yeah, he put it in the hammer.
He did.
Yeah, and then they lost it in the dance off.
Yeah, it was the Power Stone.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, and then the last bit of Disney news, talking with Collider, Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier spoke on how this Marvel movie will be different than all the rest. We just reported on how the Marvels are going to be different than all the rest.
Trust me, guys.
Now we're going to report on how the Thunderbolts is. It was just a really different approach and a new kind of story to tell amidst that, which I know they've made so many things, but it's not a sequel. Yes, these characters have appeared before, but it's a new story being told, and a story, I think, that's very different perspective than maybe people aren't expecting. And I think that felt exciting, and it felt like a real challenge, taken on. So
cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, another movie that's not going to be mid fatigue because it's different. Which, I mean, it's weird because the Thunderbolts, like, this is a story in and of itself. And yeah, they've done a lot of stuff, but this is Thunderbolts. Yeah, you have to tie in all the shit that's Marvel been doing because this is a team up movie. Like, this is like an Avengers. Like, you have to tie that shit in. You're like, yeah, the Avengers.
Is Thunderbolts like Suicide Squad or something?
No,
is the equivalent.
But I was just gonna say, I guarantee you, they're gonna try to do that. That's gonna be.
This is gonna be that.
They're gonna try to make their version of Suicide Squad. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. As a matter of fact, I hope we remember this conversation when that movie comes out.
Yep. Well, yeah,
Mark it. Write it down.
So we're on to the etc. There's not a whole lot here left. We'll talk real quick. Speaking of Netflix cancellations, Warrior Nun. Did you guys watch that?
Nope.
Show. It was 2 seasons, 2020 and 2022.
Warrior Nun.
Wouldn't watch it just for the name.
It's apparently a popular book series. I think it was canceled after the second season, but then it was saved. And the guy behind it says that they can't say who or anything what because of the strike or anything, but the Warrior Nun is now getting a trilogy of theatrical films.
Oh, sick.
So I'm actually go back and watch the first 2 seasons, see if it's any good, to know whether I want to watch the trilogy movie that's allegedly coming out. But
the
throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. They didn't like it, but apparently the fans liked it enough that they saved it, and somebody picked it up for a motion picture trilogy.
God, my eyes are so itchy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, Apple TV's upcoming Monsterverse series officially has a title: Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
Yep, Monarch's the company that's been behind all that shit in the movies.
And I'm actually curious about this one because Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt will be playing the same character from different times. So there's not going to be any de-aging. It's just a father and son. And they look a lot alike.
See, that's cool.
So that is creative and cool. I like
cool
it.
Stuff.
And it's Monsterverse. We have no release date yet for this. Obviously, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, which is the next movie in the Monsterverse series. That comes out like March 15th, 2024, barring any strike.
There's like
delays,
another
of course.
Japanese Godzilla movie coming out soon.
Yeah, that probably is. But yeah, I'm excited about the Monsterverse show. I think the Kurt Russell and the Son Wyatt. There's a pretty good cast for this. But like we said, Apple's doing good stuff right now.
Oh, it's called Godzilla -1. Did you guys watch the trailer for that?
No, not yet. No.
Oof. Yeah, I'm hyped for that.
And speaking of Heath Ledger and Nolan, TMNT Mutant Mayhem director Jeff Rao took a page out of Nolan's book when pitching the idea of saving Shredder for the sequel. He likened it to saving Heath Ledger's Joker for this fucking second movie, which is a really smart move. You show your character, you give him an easy villain, you build it up, and then the next movie's $1 billion fucking movie.
Yep.
So that's I heard good things about Mutant Mayhem.
I heard it was really good, and I'm really excited to see it. Nick saw it the other day, and Nick was like, what a dumb fuck he is. No, not shout out to Nick. Nick's fucking dumb. He was like, oh, the Shredder wasn't in it. It's fucking bad. He liked it. He said it was good, but he's like, oh, fucking Shredder wasn't in it. I was disappointed.
Holy
wow.
Shit. Okay, well.
Anyhow, I heard it was really good.
Fuck you, Nick.
Yeah, fuck you, Nick.
All right. Zack Snyder, our favorite guy. He confirmed the Rebel Moon teaser trailer will release on August 22nd, 2023. Jeff Keighley, host of Opening Night Live, which is a show that precedes Gamescom.
Today.
That's right now.
Yeah, he confirmed Snyder will be on stage to show the teaser live as well as share a special announcement. So Gamescom, I think, starts the 23rd. No, today's the 21st. What are you guys talking about? Tomorrow.
Well,
apparently
I'm looking at Dan's clock. It says 22nd.
Is my clock off?
You're in the West Coast.
You're on the
right. Yeah. You're in the new day. Yeah, you're midnight. Sorry.
He's not used to that. Then
I'm usually 1 hour behind you. I'm 1 hour behind you, usually not 4. Okay.
Good Lord.
Totally fair.
So yeah, anywho, Zack Snyder's going to be on stage at the Opening Night Live show, which precedes Gamescom. He's going to show the teaser trailer for Rebel Moon and also have a special announcement. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out.
It's going to be like his last special announcement that was like, probably. Oh yeah, we're going to do fucking.
So this is the Star Wars one, but it wasn't Star. It's like Star Wars inspired.
Yeah, it's just basically.
It might be good. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see what Snyder does. Dan is not happy or impressed about it.
Because his movies aren't good, dude. Like, he has 2 good movies. 3 good movies. I'll give him that.
This could make it 4.
Maybe.
You never know.
Maybe. The last zombie one, the Vegas one, wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good either. It had its moments.
But Sydney Sweeney confirmed her role in the upcoming Madam Web movie, and it is none other than Julia Carpenter, aka Spider-Woman. I think she was the second Spider-Woman from the 80s.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson will be playing Madam Web. That's scheduled for February 14, 2024. So that role has been confirmed. It was unannounced, but she has confirmed it. And then the last piece of news that we have, Across the Spider-Verse.
Nice. Good segue.
There are multiple versions of this movie. Did you guys know that?
I did not.
Nope.
All right. Well, people were starting to get a little bit confused. Apparently, Chris Miller, the producer, was talking with.
Yeah, I wonder what version I watched.
That's what I was gonna say. I hope we watched the same fucking movie.
The international version was done and completed 2 months prior to release, so that they could get it rated and translated for international release.
Okay.
And then ImageWorks had cleaned up some of the shots for the U.S. release. So there's subtle changes, I believe, between the international and the national version, or the international and the U.S. version. And then finally, for the home release, there were still people in sound and in VFX that said, let's just do the best possible version we can. And so Miller went on to say, because it's a multiverse movie, it's like there's a multiverse of the movie.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different versions of the movie. There's the international version, which was done and cut, and then the US version, which just cleaned up, I believe, some shots, and then the 2 DVD version has better audio and a couple different changes. So yeah, there's 3 different versions of.
So no big changes though. Like
no big changes. Like some subtle audio tweaks and some subtle scene changes where they wanted to do a little bit better on the effects, which the effects were kind of weird to me. So I don't know, but we can talk about that when
I'll tell you why.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Thanks for the news, Dusty.
Yeah, no problem.
Even while you're away, you're plugging, keeping your ear to the beat. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Ear to the ground. Yeah. But yeah, we're here to talk about Spider-Verse, folks. Recently came out Across the Spider-Verse, the most recent in this trilogy. Everything's a fucking trilogy. We're talking about mid fatigue. I got fucking multiverse fatigue. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Like,
I feel that.
I'm sick of the fucking multiverse. And we've even really begun to get into the multiverse. If you're an MCU fan, like, we're not even scratching the surface of that shit yet. But
I teased about it too. Like, you say you're getting sick of multiverse fatigue. Wait until you get sick of AI fatigue, because we're gonna have so many AI movies about AI coming out in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah,
we have AI fatigue.
That's true. That's the next
multiverse fatigue is going to be a thing of the past. It's going to be AI fatigue. Get ready.
Yeah.
I've never really liked the multiverse premise, because in comic books, it's always ever just been used to like retcon some shit or bring somebody back to life, which is fine. It's like it's whatever. It's a cheap writing tool for comic. I think
one
books.
of the first ones I ever remember was like Jet Li's The One, where the guy he figured out
shit,
like
I remember
if he kills everybody,
he gains himself.
Power. He gains their power and he becomes immortal. Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah, that's a cool premise.
Yeah. That movie got 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. But yeah, so we're in the Spider-Verse now, and this time we're going across the Spider-Verse. Yeah. Previously, we went into the Spider-Verse. Now we're going across it, and I think this movie might have given me ADHD a little bit, but yeah, this movie got a lot of hype around it. So, as I said earlier, I was really curious to check it out myself. So, is it worth the hype? Does it live up to the hype, folks? Let's find out together.
Let's find out.
Let's take a journey across the Spider-Verse together and find out.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. I had
seen neither movie, so I had to watch them back.
Oh, really? You never watched them?
Oh, that's a long watch.
I told you I didn't really have like all the Spider-Mans. It wasn't catching my attention. I was like, I like Spider-Man. I don't need to see all the Spider-Mans.
Right.
Okay.
But it was good. I enjoyed the first one very much. I thought it was a little bit better than the one we're reviewing right now, but I did enjoy this.
I actually don't know if I enjoyed this better than the first one. Simply, I think because the first one felt more complete. Well, whereas this one was a huge setup for the third movie. Like, obviously, that is on a fucking hiatus. So, whatever. I'm
going to be honest. I didn't super care for the first one. It's not that I didn't like. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but I watched that one a little bit later. Like we watched this one a little bit later, like after its release. And all I heard back then was, "Oh my God, you got to watch Spider-Verse. You got to watch Spider-Verse. We got to watch Spider-Verse." And when I watched it, I was kind of just like, okay, it's like a good movie, but like I'm not fucking like ripping off my clothes about it and shit. Like it's a good movie. And honestly, I kind of felt the same way about this one. It was good. I enjoyed it, but like I'll probably never watch it again. I don't think it's not that kind of movie for me. But let's talk about why. So one thing I just want to say, this movie is like a comic book come to life. I think is really the strength of this movie.
That's one thing I really loved about what they're doing with this movie is how they incorporated comics into both of them. How they incorporated the comic feeling into it. They did a really good job.
The story,
the art style does a lot for this.
I actually hate
movie.
the art style, but I'll get into that. So
I think it does a lot. I think it carries a lot of this movie.
It does.
And the representation of many cultures does a lot for this.
Yeah.
We're getting into semantics because the art style and the comic style, I think, are two different
Well,
things.
I wasn't talking about the art style. So when I say comic style, there's like a comic book come to life. When I say it's a comic book come to life, I mean in the storytelling.
Like the way they show the panels, the way they show the words, the way they show some.
Not even really just that. I don't mean it on like a visual level. I mean it on a
like the flow of the story,
the way the story
like
flows, the context of the story, and basically what I was trying to get at is that I love that it's commonplace now for these concepts like the multiverse, as sick of it as I am, and like having a million Spider-Men on a single scene. These concepts have become commonplace where they were once reserved for quote unquote nerds to like sit and talk about. Like this is the language that like Dusty and I would speak like 10, 15 years ago. And it was like exclusive to like a community of a fandom of comic book people, Ed, stuff like that. But we have now been trained by the MCU and like the popularization of comic book stories that like now everybody loves this shit. So it's like for everybody.
I mean, they
think
did
it's
this
great.
with like the Batman live action show did a lot of this. Like I think it was a bit of a nod to some of the old comic book shows where they really.
Oh, for sure. Kevin Smith in his review for this movie, he said he made a good comparison. He said it's like in The Incredibles when the bad guy said, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but the bad guy in that movie
Great movie.
He wanted like everybody to have powers because when everybody had powers, then everybody would be special rather than like a certain group of people. And he said, the comic.
Have you seen that, Marvin?
Yeah, I've seen Incredibles.
He had said that they were both very good, by the way, The Incredibles.
Yeah, they were.
But he had said that like the expanse of the comic book fandom being for wider audiences now is similar to that. Well, now everybody's a fucking comic book nerd, right? So I really appreciate this movie for that. And that's kind of what I meant by like the way the story is told is very comic booky. And while yes, I agree, the art style does do a lot of heavy lifting. I actually don't really care for the art style in these movies, to be honest. Some of it I like, but I don't really like the fact that they're
hit or miss for me. Like some of it I was like, oh, that's cool. And then some of it was like, what are they thinking here?
Well, so
I think it's great. I don't think this movie is nearly as good as a movie just based on the story that it presents without the art style and like the multiverse.
I agree.
I don't like when they had like all those Spider-Man on screen, but I did enjoy like the first one where it was like a few completely different types of Spider-Man. I thought that was really cool.
Well, what I don't like about the art style specifically is I don't like. So you mentioned it looks. I forget, one of you said something about how it looks. It's a specific art choice for these movies, and I think it's a story thing too, because before we get into that, let's just do a brief little rundown. So this is the multiverse story, as we said. It's through the lens specifically of Spider-Men and women, and it turns out after the first movie, Miles Morales is an anomaly. He was bitten by a spider from another universe that he had no business being bitten by, and he should have never been a Spider-Man to begin with. So
I thought that was a pretty good twist.
I did think that was a good twist as well. But
I didn't see that one coming.
So his becoming Spider-Man set off a path of destruction across the multiverse, we find out.
Right. Yeah.
And that path is that, and this is like, again, very comic booky. We know this from just comic books in general, right? Spider-Man suffering a loss of some kind is the core fundamental element of his character. We've talked about this before when talking about
static in the timelines. Yeah,
we've talked about this before when talking about Superman. Like Jonathan Kent's death is that core thing, which is why having him choose to die is fucking dumb. Because whatever. So Spider-Man suffering some sort of loss. It's necessary for him to become Spider-Man. And
right.
in these films, it's a necessary point in time that they call a canon event. And if this canon event doesn't occur, the universe is sort of blinked out of existence slowly. Now, these canon events, as the Spider-Verse movies call them, is nothing new. It's typical multiverse rules. We just recently learned about those rules in Loki. with incursions and variants and the sacred timeline. In fact, they show the sacred timeline in this movie. This movie did a lot of MCU crossover stuff that we'll get into in a bit, but I thought that was cool. But it's the same rules that apply here, just specifically related to Spider-Man. But this story plays into a bigger theme, and I think, at least the way I took it, is what it means to be Spider-Man and a hero in general, and the sacrifices that are always present and necessary in the hero's journey, right? Again, through the lens of Spider-Man. It's necessary for him to lose Uncle Ben. Necessary for him to lose Aunt May or whoever is special to him at that point, for him to become the hero that he has to become.
Or Ghost losing Peter.
Sure. And when I say that this is about what it means to be Spider-Man, I found it as an interesting distinction to make between this movie and the live action Spider-Man movies. All of them, really, not just the MCU ones. These Spider-Verse films, again, I'm going to say it again, are about what it means to be Spider-Man and the responsibility of that. Very much so. Where I think the live action movies kind of lean a little bit more heavily into what it means to be Peter Parker. If that makes any sense.
I think the original trilogy delved into a little bit of both.
It certainly did, and so does the new ones too. Now, by the end of it, I don't want to spoil for Marvin.
Sure, yeah.
And the comic books delve into both, but I think it is a pretty big distinction that this is about Spider-Man and women, because about 1 million Spider-Men, and the movies, the live action movies, are really about Peter Parker, right? Yeah. So this isn't Peter Parker's journey; it's Miles's journey, but it's also like every Spider-Man's, the way this movie frames it. So I thought that was a cool little thing, but this movie in particular is really about Miles carving out his own path. And I think that's like the central theme of the movie. When you strip away all like the crazy multiversal stuff in his personal life, he's dealing with his parents who are like really overbearing and they're having trouble letting go. And him growing up, they kind of like don't want to allow him to go away to like a really good college because it's in New Jersey and not in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And as Spider-Man, he's being told by this spider society that were introduced in this movie that his father dying is a canon event and he has to allow it to happen. Otherwise, his universe is going to be blinked out of existence. And on top of that, as I said, he's not even supposed to be Spider-Man.
Right.
So again, this is about what it means to be Spider-Man and what it means to sort of take control of your own destiny, sort of in a way. Obviously, it was left off on a cliffhanger, but he clearly took some steps to try to stop this canon event from happening. And we don't know where that goes because they said, hey, bye, see you in the next one.
Hated it.
Which was a little fucking annoying.
It's kind of predictable where it's going, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, but whatever. So anyway, all that out of the way, you guys mentioned we're talking about the art style a little bit, and you mentioned that it like looks a little bit funky. Well, there's a specific reason that it looks funky, and they did it because of the story. Now, these two stories are about being like out of time, out of your universe, and he's glitching around in this one. So the first one, it really bothered me. This one did not so much. It didn't bother me as much, but the frame rate of the characters is different than everything else that goes around it.
Yeah.
So you're watching something that's like in, I don't know, 10 frames per second versus something that's in 24 frames per second. So it makes it look all jittery and weird. And I actually really don't like that, to be honest with you. So that's one of the things that I dislike, and I get it. It's like a specific creative decision because of the subject matter of the story. Fine. In fact, in the first one, it made me dizzy. I remember specifically. I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was getting like motion sick.
Yeah. I was watching with a friend and she was like, do you see that? It's like one thing slow motion and everything else is not. Like, yeah, I absolutely see that.
And I don't really
I didn't notice it. It didn't bother me.
Really?
Yeah.
You got them young Thundercat eyes. That's why.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
No, and then the other thing that I didn't really care for is like the background blurriness, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
There's the backgrounds in these are always like kind of out of focus, or they use like cross hatching to like it kind of just like distorts it a little bit. My only real gripes. Otherwise, I think it's a beautiful movie. The art style, I mean, the art is obviously great. And I made the joke in the beginning when I said it gave me ADHD. it's a very like visually stimulating movie. There's like a lot of shit going on in like almost every scene, and the movie kind of like never really calms down a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, that being said, like I'm not in love with the movie like a lot of people seem to be. I didn't hate it. I definitely enjoyed it, but it's kind of like, oh, you're right. I watched it and now I'm cool with it. Like I don't really quite understand the ranting and raving over it. But Marvin,
yeah,
what about you?
I agree there. I agree there. Like I said, I think the representation of the different cultures was good for, representation does matter. So I think a lot of people probably were overhyping it from that point of view, which I understand. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie too.
Miles Morales is even a character, so
that's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
idiots.
I mean, well, go ahead, Marvin. Continue. I'll say what I was going to say.
I was just going to say I enjoyed it. I don't think it was necessarily anything groundbreaking. I would probably say it probably was a little overhyped, but I did enjoy watching it, and I'm looking forward to the next one for sure. Yeah,
it's a very ambitious story that I don't know that you could really pull off well in live action. Which I don't know. Actually, maybe that's not even.
You could.
I don't know. I say that, and then immediately I thought about like the end game.
Everywhere all at once. Oh.
Well, everything everywhere all at once, but the final fight in Endgame, like I never thought in a million years I'd see literally every fucking hero on screen at the same time. So I think you could pull it off, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. The issues that I have with this movie aren't creative ones. I think it's a very fun movie. The story's great. Visually, it's great for the most part.
Yeah.
Minus my little gripes. The issue that I have with this movie is I think a Sony thing where it's like you seem to be having and the creators of this obviously took huge steps to include the MCU into this. And even the non-MCU Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire ones and the Andrew Garfield ones.
OG animated Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Do anything you could do. Oh, I pulled something.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
They involved everything, which is cool. But I feel like we just got a live-action Spider-Verse movie that was essentially the same thing, just with 3 characters instead of 1 million.
Sure.
All right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, Dusty just mentioned Miles Morales, how people some people don't like him because he's a dark-skinned person.
There are also people that don't like him because they're originalists and they think that Peter Parker Spider-Man, much like, Captain America is
Steve Rogers. Yeah.
Steve Rogers.
I don't have.
And if you try and make it anybody else, you've diluted or messed up the story, and I don't want to watch it. There's originalists out there, and I can kind of lean more. I mean, I can get it. You don't like it, fine. That's fine. But if you don't like it for skin color, you're a racist, and you can just fuck right off.
I think it's like originalism. I think it's like a little bit of racism disguised as originalism, if I'm being honest.
In some
that's
cases.
Like a whole nother. Yeah.
And no, in some cases for sure. But I get where Dusty's coming from. Like me, I'm not racist. I hope everybody knows that. But like in the MCU, I'm having a hard time getting used to Captain America that's not Steve Rogers, just because you grow to be close with guys. I'm open to it. Obviously, I don't have any problem with who is the new Captain America. It's just that it's not Steve Rogers. So I get that. I'm not an originalist like in that sense, but I do get where people read comic books their whole lives and it's like, wait, there's a new Spider-Man? But in the comic books, that's not really what it is. He doesn't replace Peter Parker. It's him and Peter Parker that are Spider-Man for the most part. And then there are these multiverse stories. The stuff with him and Gwen is ripped right out of the comic books. Like they have a relationship across the multiverse. They like open portals to like visit each other from time to time. So that's cool. My thing is, I don't have much of an attachment to Miles Morales. I don't really know that much about him. I know he's a very popular character. For all the negative things about him, like that people say about him, he is one of the more popular comic book characters these days. I don't have an attachment to him because I never read any of the Miles Morales comic books. So I don't have that type of attachment to him. And I think where my issue lies with these movies is that I don't think they really gave me an attachment to Miles Morales. I think he's cool. Yeah. I like his story quite a bit. Like I like the stuff that they're showing. Like, but his, at least the way the movies are presenting them, I don't know how he is in the comic books, but his experience aligns very closely with Peter Parker. So like I've already experienced it with a different character. I'm kind of seeing it again, and that's kind of where like it's the story the movie's telling. It's what does it mean to be Spider-Man or a hero in general. You make sacrifices. You fucking give up a lot of personal goals that you want and relationships and things like that, all to be Spider-Man, because with great power comes great responsibility. So I don't know if that's really why, but I think that's why I have a little bit of trouble like actually like attaching myself to him. So when watching this movie, I don't really have any like emotional feelings about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like I like him. I think he's cool, and I think the movies are good. I wasn't left with like, oh man, like what's gonna happen? Like I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but
no, you're getting it. I think I don't know. When I said I wasn't religious, we've talked about this before. I was like, I'm not really interested in all the Spider-Mans. And you're like, well, it's not everyone being Spider-Man. It's just all the Spider-Mans from all the multiverses. I'm like, yeah, but it's still just all Spider-Man. Like there's a couple of scenes. That's why I think I like the first one better. It was a little bit more interesting. I like the buildup of it. And this one was more predictable in that I kind of like, all right, so Gwen is the one who had to kill Peter Parker, and now he's in that world. And the Prowler, which is kind of a generic.
You got that? I didn't get that.
I like that they did an original villain, but I thought the Prowler was kind of generic of a villain.
No, the Prowler, the Prowler is not original. The Prowler is from the comic books.
Right. For Miles Morales, though.
Yeah, he's Miles Morales. In the comic books, he is Miles' uncle, just as they did it here. Which, speaking of, I had a whole thing where I was going to point to some like cool Easter eggs. So surprised to see fucking Donald Glover as the Prowler in this, because it was alluded to in the first MCU Spider-Man movie. Donald Glover shows up and he's like, I got a nephew who lives in Brooklyn, and it's like, oh fuck, Miles Morales is in this world. So that was a cool little Easter egg.
They did a really good job on the voice acting, I think. Shout out to Jake Johnson.
No, Donald Glover was like physically in it. He was a human being, not animated, in his little like cage thing.
Right. I think he's credited here as voicing it in the second one as well, which is weird.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think this is right though.
No,
because it was Marshall Ali in the first one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was him in this too.
Yeah.
Also,
so I don't know why they credited it that way.
That's weird.
The Spider-Man Noir, can we get Nick Cage to do that, please?
Yeah, he did it in the first one. Oh, you mean in live action?
They're doing a live action Spider-Man Noir for Amazon. But yeah, then he's apparently showing up in Spider-Man 3. But like going back to it, I was like, this feels pretty predictable. Like she had to kill Spider-Man. He's in her world where he is actually the Prowler, and he's got to figure out that she killed Spider-Man, and Spider-Man never became.
So what you're trying to say?
World. He got bit by this radioactive spider.
Hang on a second. You're confusing me. Slow down for a second. You're confusing me because I don't know what you're talking about. By the end of this movie, he went to the wrong universe where his dad died.
Yes.
Right. And his uncle was still alive, not the Prowler, working for the Prowler, who was Miles Morales. But this is the universe that does not have a Spider-Man in it, because the spider that was supposed to bite that universe's Spider-Man bit this Miles.
Yes.
So this universe that we are left off in at the end of the movie, the cliffhanger,
is the one where Spider-Man never existed.
Spider-Man has never existed. But so
that's
where
why
do you,
it's shambles.
Right. So where are you getting the theory that Gwen killed his dad?
Gwen didn't kill his dad. She said Peter died in my world, and that's when I became Spider-Man.
Yeah, we saw that in the beginning. Peter became Lizard in her world.
Right. She killed him.
Yeah.
Which she doesn't tell him. She's he died in my world. Yeah.
She doesn't say that.
There's never a Peter Parker that becomes Spider-Man. I become Spider-Man.
Okay. That's why I was getting confused. Yeah, you know what, Marvin, though? Speaking of, little side thing, you're talking about the voice acting. There's two people credited for Miles, too. There's Shameik Moore, who's credited as Miles Morales. And then there's Jarrell Jerome, whom I recently mentioned was Miles Morales, because he was in Mr. Mercedes or something like that.
Right.
And so I don't know who the fuck is who. Is he Miles most of the time, or is it Shameik Moore? Because Shameik Moore has the top credit.
Where do you see that the other guy is? I don't see that. All I see is Shameik Moore.
IMDb, if you look on the left-hand side and just scroll down, under Mahershala Ali is Uncle Aaron, is Jarrell Jerome.
And that's Into the Spider-Verse? Both?
Miles G. Morales. There's the distinction. So it's a different Miles he voices. Okay.
Oh.
So he must have been the bad Miles at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he did have a different voice. That makes sense.
Okay. So I miscredited him. There's also a distinction with Peter Parker, too. Jake Johnson, it plays Peter B. Parker, who's the one with the baby.
Yeah.
And in the first one...
I also loved how they overly exaggerated Wilson Fisk in this.
In the first one?
His character.
Yeah. And then,
that fucking...
Jack Quaid does Peter Parker's voice, too. He's big in the comic books, too.
He looked like the Penguin from, like, the Michael Keaton Batman movies.
Right.
DeVito.
What did you guys think about the little bit that we saw of the villain in this one, Spot?
Spot? I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was
well
cool.
Done. Yeah.
And he was voiced by...
He basically absorbed the fucking, like, multiverse portals, essentially.
Yeah.
Is what I got out of it, yeah.
And he was
the fight scenes were interesting. Like, they were taking it.
Yeah,
like,
they were cool.
Yeah, all you do is fucking talk trash and do jokes. Well, I fucking got you now, you sucker.
He was voiced by Jason Schwartzman, whom we've recently watched in Asteroids. Well, we watched. Marvin didn't, in Asteroid City.
I watched some of it.
I know. Yeah.
I didn't know that was him, though.
Yeah, I thought he was cool. He was funny. Like, everything. I like everything about the movie. I don't have any real negative thing to say about the movie, other than the art style is really, like, kind of... It's a little bit...
I like the art style.
I don't not like it. It's just a little too ADHD for me. That's all. It's too much.
No, that's
it's fair. A little crazy. I still like it and I appreciate it. Fine. I honestly don't have anything negative to say about this movie. It's just that I don't know why. I can't really figure it out. I'm not left with this, like, attachment or, like, resounding applause for the movie. Like, it was just good. That's all, you know what I mean? To me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm fucked up from watching the MCU because...
So what about the villain? What do we think about the villain? The Spider-Man that was trying to stop Spider-Man.
I mean, that was a big... That was
he was like... He wasn't a villain, but I see what you're saying.
I mean, he was
pseudo-villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an antagonist in the film. He wasn't a...
I think he was fine. I feel like Miles is a fucking selfish piece of shit. So I don't know. I thought the guy was doing the right thing,
like,
you know.
A vampire Spider-Man.
So that's actually a big reveal that he's even in this movie. There was the first one had a post-credit scene with him, where his little AI is talking to him at the end of it. That's Spider-Man 2099, who's like another popular Spider-Man variant from the comic books. So his being in this movie at all was like sort of like a big deal. It's his first on-screen appearance, I think, ever. So that's kind of neat.
Voiced by our boy, right?
Yeah, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Yep.
And yeah.
While we're talking about variants, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it here.
Go ahead.
Spider-Punk is clearly the best variant of Spider-Man in this movie. Sorry,
cool.
Peter and Miles. The aesthetics of this character and everything that came out of his mouth was fucking gold. He's fucking voiced by Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, he was absolutely based, and he did the right thing. It seems. Yeah. But I still think like the first one and the second one, like I was more, maybe it's nostalgia for me because it's Spider-Pig and it's Spider-Man Noir.
That's just funny, yeah.
And it's Spider-Woman and it's Spider-Man and it's Miles Morales. So you get the nostalgia of, okay, there's these multiple Spider-Man. Then when you get into this one, it's like they're all Spider-Man.
There's too many. Yeah, the whole Spider-Man world.
Like there's a city of Spider people.
Spider Society.
It's a little too much. And that's where I was, that's why I held off on this because like I didn't really have an interest in. I don't want to see the Spider Universe where everybody's Spider-Man, and that's what they showed us in this movie. And that's why I don't think it was good as the first one. I hope they finish it right with the third one. But with the strike and everything, they were supposed to pop these out. They were supposed to be ready. Wham, bam, thank you, man, one after another. But apparently they got to do a lot of reshoots and a lot of work on the next one. So
Yeah.
we're not going to see it for a while with the strike.
Well, just talking theory, I guess. Well, not theory, talking about the story. It seemed to me this Spider Society was established specifically to prevent Miles from trying to save his father.
Yeah, it's
the
time authority from Loki.
The time variant society.
Time variance
authority.
Yeah,
that's like basically what it was. That's what I said. So
yes.
I think that at the end of the day, it's like, I think I already saw this story play out in things that I actually like better.
We saw it with Loki.
I like the MCU better than this. I like the MCU Spider-Man better than this. I like the MCU. I like Loki better than this. This is just all of those concepts, just specifically about Spider-Man, which is cool on its own. It's just like I feel like I already saw those things, so I don't know. I'm having a really hard time articulating or even understanding why I didn't.
It's because it's Sony. Just like
it's because he wasn't New York enough. He didn't
works.
have the accent or anything.
This works. Let's just pick a little bit of everything that works from every movie, and let's try and.
I don't think that's it. He was big time Brooklyn Marvin. I don't know. I'm a fan of that.
I didn't feel like he had the accent enough. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean his mother is Hispanic. He's got more of like the Hispanic what he actually did it too when
but Hispanic people have thick fucking New York accents too when they're from New York.
Especially Brooklyn. Yeah, I don't even think,
yeah, like what?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're kind of right about that. But no, I get what you're saying, Dusty. I don't think that's really what it is because I don't know.
This isn't a Sony Spider-Man problem with you.
No,
this is other things.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know what it is because because
usually when Spider-Man sucks, you're like, well, this is Sony's fucking fault because they can't fucking do Spider-Man.
Well, Spider-Man hasn't sucked. That's the thing. In many years, it hasn't sucked since the Andrew Garfield movies. The three MCU Spider-Man movies, I think are outrageous.
Sony working with
fuck Sony and Marvel. I'm just saying, as movies. Those three movies are fantastic. All the Sony Spider-Verse stuff that they're doing, Morbius, Venom, those are terrible. But I'm just saying, like, I really like the MCU Spider-Man movies. The last one, No Way Home, like, that basically seemed inspired by the first Spider-Verse movie here. So, like, I don't mind the crossplay. In fact, I loved the fact that this movie referenced the Sam Raimi movies. We see what's his name over Uncle Ben in that one scene where they're showing all the Uncle Ben deaths. Like, yeah. We get to see the scene with Andrew Garfield where Gwen's dad dies. We get to see Childish Gambino, Donald Glover as the Prowler. Yeah. We get fucking J. Jonah Jameson as J.K. Simmons. Apparently,
oh, that was awesome.
This is the funniest thing about this. Across all the multiverse, across all the studios, across every property that's ever been made, there is only one J. Jonah Jameson, and it's J.K. Simmons because he's that fucking good in that role.
He is that's fucking funny. Good. It's the best.
Yeah.
He's literally the best.
He is the one constant across all the multiverse. There was a couple
His meme lives on. Shout out.
There was some other cool Easter eggs too, like Spot said the power of the multiverse in the palm of my hand. That's a fucking reference to Doc Ock. Power of the sun in the palm of my hand. There was the voiceover of Doc Ock when he went, "Hello, Peter." Like you heard that famous line. So like the movie was super fun.
Apparently they pulled from Spidey and Friends.
They pulled from everything.
Well.
They pulled from literally every piece
Doc Ock, I think, was a female on Spidey and Friends, so that was
they pulled from every piece of Spider-Man content that ever existed, even the video games. There was a moment where you see Spider-Man with the white emblem from the first Spider-Man game. You see video game Miles from the second Spider-Man game. This movie, this movie is a love letter to Spider-Man, and
it was an homage and a nod for sure.
And I love that about it. But as far as the story goes, I'm kind of like, okay.
I'm with Marvin. I'm with Marvin. It depends on how they finish this. This third movie has to hit for me.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna be disappointed because the first one was great. The second one I was like, it's a setup for the third. It's a trilogy.
Yeah.
If they fuck up the third one, I'm gonna have some problems.
I mean, all that being said, I really enjoyed it. I think it was fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Yeah.
Imaginative for sure. I'm not left with that like, oh my God, did you fucking see Across the Spider-Verse? Like, you got to go see it immediately.
Yeah. Would I put it on a million
times? It was
times,
definitely overhyped.
Or watch it even a second or third? I might watch it a second time, but
that's fair.
I'll probably fall asleep to it. But would I recommend it? Sure. Yeah, watch it at least once. You should watch it. It's good. For somebody who had not watched the first one or the second one and sat down and watched 1 and 2 in a weekend, definitely worth a watch. But
I like the
they got to close it up good. Close it strong. Go ahead, Mark.
Going back to Spot, I just like how he was like kind of like the clown villain, like a side villain at first, and then he just like became the threat to the multiverse. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he is also from the comic books. I don't know if he's an original villain.
I kept thinking of Spot from the DC and not the MC.
Isn't that Dot?
Not Marvel. It's Dot. Yeah, Dot and Spot. I was like,
oh yeah, Spot is from the comic books.
I kept thinking. So. Yeah, I kept thinking of.
Wait, is he from the comic books? It looks like he is. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I thought he was a cool villain. I thought he was really cool. Kind of reminded me of forgot in the cartoons from the 90s and early 2000s, there was a character, I think it was Hobgoblin, who was going around and like opening up different dimensional rifts and stuff. Yeah. No, it was good. I mean,
what do you guys think about this real quick? Someone said, so Miguel, that was Spider-Man, what was it? Spider-Man 2099. 2099. Someone said, Miguel's backstory essentially answers what would have happened if Wanda tried to find a universe where their Wanda died, but their kids existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it just fall apart?
That's what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
In Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness.
Someone said it seemed like he caused an incursion, but Sony couldn't say that word.
Yeah, no, they couldn't.
Yep.
Incursions.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, incursions are also
Disney word.
Yeah. So
right. That's hilarious.
That's I like, you know, again, I appreciate the movie for what it is, but like
the story was mid. I still stand on the different cultures and the art style being a big.
It was cool.
Doing a lot of heavy
the representation, but again,
like the Indian freaking Manhattan. That shit was so funny, bro.
They're just telling
big on the multi Spider-Mans, but it was okay.
I thought it was fun. Those things.
They have to close it out strong, though. That's where I'm at.
Yep.
Yeah.
First was great. Second was mid. Third better be fucking strong as fuck, or I'm gonna be disappointed.
Right. So yeah, anything else you guys want to say about it?
No.
All right.
Nope. Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a story about like Miles, which is cool.
Only to say I really want Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir.
It's not anything original, really, is what I don't quite. I feel like they had an opportunity to do something like super original, and it kind of didn't work out that way. Aside from just having every Spider-Man who ever existed in it, other than that. But it has an 8.8 on IMDb, as we said. It's very popular. People were ranting and raving mad about it. I again enjoyed it. Don't quite see the ranting and raving part of it. Objectively, it's a very good movie, so I will give it an 8.5 because I think it deserves that. But personally, I wasn't like super moved by it. That's all I'll say. Objectively, it's worth the 8.5 rating. It's a very well crafted, I think, movie.
I agree. What was the first? So the first one. Well, I'll give the first one a 9.
First one's got like an 8.2.
I give the first one a 9. I probably give this one an 8.
Okay.
Well, you know, I don't give 10, so 9's my highest, and I won't give this an 8. I'll give this one a 7.
8.4 is the first one.
I'll give the first one an 8. I'll give the second one a 7.
Okay.
Because I watched them back to back. But again, the third movie, it's got to be.
Yeah.
So you thought this was mid?
This was mid. It was
on the
borderline
cusp.
Mid. It was on the cusp. Yeah. It was on the cusp.
Damn, that's crazy.
It was interesting to see all the Spider-Man, and there were some fun parts, but I was starting like this. I know where the story's going, so they better fucking do it right.
I also feel a little bit like you, Marvin, where I'm thinking like, I don't even think Miles is that likable in this movie. Now that I'm thinking about it,
he's a fucking selfish prick.
Like he's being a brat to his fucking parents who only care about him, and like, what's his big fucking hesitancy? It's like, yeah, I'm Spider-Man. Like, okay, you know, And again, I hate to compare because, you know, somebody out there will watch this. Somebody out there.
That's gone.
Yeah, somebody out there will be like, "Oh yeah, you're just racist or you're a purist," like we were talking about. But like this Miles Morales that we've been given in the movie, I don't think is as an interesting character as Peter Parker. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think so.
Debatable. I think that's debatable.
The one in this movie that they presented, who's a brat and unlikable, I don't think he's as compelling as Peter Parker. Because even the Peter Parker in this movie was more compelling. Like, he fucking lost everything. Lost Mary Jane, fucking, you know, like all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a different struggle for this.
100%.
Like, I mean,
100%.
because think about knowing that your dad has to die.
No, at this point, like, yes, you're right. But I mean, before that revelation, he's still a brat.
Oh, okay.
And he's like,
yeah, no, he is.
So, you know, that's the thing. I don't know. And like, all he wanted to do was hang out with his friends that he made from the first movie.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
I mean,
he's a kid. Yeah. No, for sure. But there was,
a kid.
But yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I don't know. Just wasn't. I just wasn't super moved by it. I don't know. I'm gonna tell Ed this later because he's been wanting me to watch it. I'm gonna be like, I thought it was okay. He's gonna be like, I guarantee you the text I'm gonna get back is just bro. ...
This movie is good, not great.
Yeah.
The first one was great. The second one was good. The third one, hopefully.
I feel the same about the first one. Good, not great.
Did you guys, when he was transported to the wrong Earth verse or whatever, what did you think? Did you already know it right away?
No, I was fooled by it, but I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit checked out by that point. So
really,
yeah,
I was checked out, but I knew it was coming. I knew they were gonna not send him.
No, that got me. I was surprised. I was
never really got checked out on this.
Yeah, like Ghost is gonna get the band together. And again, shout out to the.
Why do you keep saying Ghost? Her name is Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman.
Yes, Spider-Woman. Okay.
Who's Ghost?
Ghost is the character from Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second one with the hood.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
They look kind of alike, yeah. But yeah, I also had heard some stuff before
Spider-Woman, also known as Ghost Spider, is a superhero appearing in American comics.
Shit.
But she's not Ghost Spider.
It's Gwen Stacy. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
When I get back to my house, I'm going to pull some fucking comic books out, Dan.
I'm looking at it right here.
If you want me to.
No.
Yeah, Dan doesn't got a long box, bro.
I don't got a long box.
I don't have a long box.
I'll fucking open my long box when I get home, and I'll show you some fucking shit, Dan.
I'm looking at it right here.
Because I got some shit where like Gwen Stacy fights.
All right, relax.
Redhead's name.
Real quick, while we're on Gwen Stacy, before we wrap up, there was some noise that I heard before this movie, when the movie came out in theaters, that was like, you know, it's like the fucking anti-woke people that were like, oh, this movie's about like fucking trans shit. I did not see one single instance in this movie that I think could even be related to that. In fact, I had asked Ed about it when it came out, and he told me that, like, I think Gwen at one point's wearing like a rainbow flag or something. I didn't even see that in this movie. So what the fuck are people complaining? They just like make shit up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's
I don't even.
Shit. Yeah, I mean they do well shit in the comics, they do well shit in the movies, but I didn't see anything. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyhow, let us know in the comments, folks, what you thought of the Spider-Verse. Was it worth all the hype? Are you fucking infatuated with it like a lot of people are, or are you kind of like us?
Nope.
Like, yeah, it was all right. Let us know.
Worth seeing though.
Yeah, worth seeing for sure. As I mentioned in the beginning, we're trying to get to that 500 subscriber fucking milestone. So consider subscribing, hit the like button, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks.
Asta.